There's like such a difference between like what I want my heart to be, where I want my heart to be, and where it actually is.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather be a doorkeeper. And sometimes I'll even pray like, God, I know your word says this. I want my heart to agree with this. Right now, my flesh does not.
Yep.
Like, I want to be a
Talk about
doorkeeper,
it.
but my flesh really wants to not be a doorkeeper.
Yeah.
I want to feast at the table in the house. Like, is that good? Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Young Adult Podcast. We have our friends on today. We got Jada.
Hi.
She's on the YA team and basically makes it run. Everything that good about YA is Jada, except for some bad things.
That's
Just
bold.
kidding. And then we got Anna.
Hi, everyone.
That was nice. That
Hi,
was a nice
Annie.
intro.
I'm nice, yeah.
She was power posing in my office before
Okay,
this.
no need to air that out.
And then we got Devin.
What's up, guys?
Devon.
Devon. Do you go by that now?
No, never,
Oh.
never. I don't
You
think.
do now.
I don't know if I've ever been called that actually.
Oh, nice, Jada.
This feels like the Breakfast Club.
It does.
I wish
This
I knew
really
what that
does.
meant.
Okay, so Jada, this whole podcast is your baby, one of your childs. So would you want to do the intro of what we're going to be doing today
we're
and
gonna-
all the things?
Yeah, we're going to start with some millennial versus Gen Z Q&A.
Are you a millennial?
You'll get to see at the end of this, okay?
Oh my God.
Ooh.
So, actually, I'm not. I'm Gen Z. Sorry to betray you. That's going to be on your betrayal list, but we'll get there.
Oh,
Okay, first one. True or false? Brain rot is actually good for you.
No.
Oh, true.
False.
100%.
No, it is not.
Yeah, it
All the
is.
research literally says it's not.
What research have you seen?
research?
2 years ago, Webster Dictionary released Word of the Year, and it was goblin mode. And it talked about how Gen Zers scroll and they goblin out into
Okay.
their couch and how bad it is for you.
But
I feel like that's a very millennial thing to look at the
Hey.
dictionary word of the year.
I
That brings
know.
us to the second question, which is millennials have the highest social media usage among the adult demographic. True or
Yeah.
false?
True.
Yeah,
I think it's true.
I think so too.
They said goodbye newspaper, hello social media.
I think it's true because millennials all have student debt and they're all trying to escape the reality that they have all these bills that are due, but then they don't have a job that pays a salary good enough to even justify why they have the student debt. Not me, just my friends.
I feel like that
Everyone
thought-
else.
Yeah, not speaking
not
personally,
Casey.
I was like,
but
No, I do. My job's amazing. I love my job. But I would say true, actually.
I think it's true.
That's true. You guys are trying to rage bait
No,
me.
we're not.
No.
Studies have shown that TikTok is good for the brain development.
yes.
True.
False.
Oh, it's such like a source of inspiration.
I feel like I
think.
learned so much
Yeah.
on TikTok.
And intelligence, like knowledge.
I
No.
learned a lot. There's news on there. They have stat stuff on there.
Yeah, but brain development.
yeah, it helps with the development
Expand
of the
your
brain.
vocabulary.
There's a reason I have to have 18 illustrations in every sermon is because you guys are little goldfishes and I can feel the
It's 'cause we can
attention
absorb so
leaving
much.
At the same
Yeah.
time, it's all at once.
No. I'm going to
I
look
think
up an
that's
article.
true.
Okay. Gen Z is the best socialized generation and most respected.
Absolutely not, dude.
No,
Yeah, we're
true.
so connected through social
Anna,
media.
you have a Gen Z stare that you do. Guys,
I can't talk
Anna
about that.
goes
I
to the
can't
front. No, we're talking about this. Anna goes to the front to like pray for people. They're like, all the staff come to the front.
Mm-hmm.
And she is like waiting for people to come up and get prayer from her. And her stare is like a Gen Z stare into like, not straight, not like up, like down diagonal at people's feet. And I'm like, who is going to approach this woman
Can I
with this
see
Gen
that?
Z
Listen, there
stare?
were lines.
I have a photo.
There were lines.
There was not a line. Not at all.
or there's
No
a line,
worries.
but they weren't going to you. Is
Yeah.
that
She
what
was
it was?
holding her hands like
Honestly-
in prayer, hand
Like, she's
style.
I've been
locked
told I'm
in.
very approachable, so
I feel like you were locked
By
in.
who?
no comment.
I think you are approachable, but I don't think your generation. Let's put it this way. If someone is really social from your generation, I feel like I'm really shocked. And then I'm like, I have to like tell them immediately. I'm like, I need to tell you something. Like Cammie, intern, we met yesterday. She's like, what was your first impression? I'm like, you looked at me in the eye when we spoke and you nodded and you had a follow-up question. It was crazy. Sorry, everyone. I love you all. Just keep working on it. Okay.
You're getting a long list of enemies right now.
I know. I love you all, you guys. Just keep practicing your interpersonal skills.
Okay, let's go into the next one.
This is not good.
Millennials are the laziest and most unemployed generation. True or false? I feel like I
Gotta
might be
be.
split.
It's close, but I'd have to give it to millennials.
Unemployed.
From what I've seen.
Yeah.
I just feel like the lack of initiative is just really.
In millennials?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, Jada. Rage bait is the word of the year, and that is what's happening right now. No, dude.
You didn't put yours, yes or no? True or false?
No, we are not. All my colleagues out there that aren't listening to this at all.
I'm your colleague of one.
Okay, all my older colleagues are not lazy. They take initiative. I love them. The Gen Zers, I've been ghosted so many times from plans. No.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Maybe because they're so
Hyman.
busy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so busy on their
Yeah.
video games.
Just consuming information
Yeah.
on TikTok.
How much did you game this last week, Devin?
Not enough. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
How much is your screen time? Everyone's screen time on 3.
A day.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, what's your average? 3, 2, 1, 7.
Like 2 hours.
Like
I think.
5.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually,
I would say.
I'm embarrassed.
You don't know.
It's all work.
Okay.
Anyway,
Sure.
She's really trying to beat the
dude, I
odds
thought
of
we
them.
were going to be on the same
We
team today.
are. We are. The last
Okay.
one is Gen Z has the most common sense than any other generation. True or false?
Common sense? No. I think they have like a really strong. No, I think you guys have common sense. I think your gifts are more. Okay. I feel like Gen Zers are really working on themselves. Like therapy,
Mm-hmm.
like work that like I did not even think to be doing.
'Cause
in
it's
my
common
early
sense?
mid-20s.
Yeah.
No.
Is it
Common
not
sense
common?
right
I think
there.
you're really good at learning from the millennials' failures.
It's called common
True.
sense, Casey.
Mhm.
Single we
Learning
don't
from
want.
people's failures.
Sure, you can have this one. Oh gosh.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Thank you. So the Gen Z's won on that one. Welcome to the Gen Z Takeover.
Yeah, we're taking over.
This is
It's ours.
This is a Gen Z Takeover podcast.
I'm just kidding. But no, it's really funny. Those are really good ones.
That was really nice, Jada.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
You're so
feel
welcome.
Do you think they were true?
no.
Mm.
Are there like results?
You caught on to us. It was
You
great.
did.
Yeah,
did.
we came up
You
with this in the
did.
office.
Yeah.
About 15
Okay, yeah,
minutes
this
ago.
is all rigged. Good. Okay, Jada, why don't you explain to the people today's topic?
Today's topic. Okay, so we're going to talk about faith integration, family relationships, all the things. And with our guests today, we have Anna and Devin, and we wanted to just like get to know a little bit more about you guys and like when did you start coming to church, how you got involved, connected. Yeah, like you guys, I don't know more about you guys.
And how old are you?
Devin, you kick it off.
Oh, okay.
Put that in your information.
Yeah, well,
Put that on your bio.
I am 22 years old. I started coming to Red Rocks in like 7th grade. Before Casey was a youth pastor, like everything. And so I started coming 7th grade, just youth group, went all throughout high school. Stopped going for like 6 months. The
wild
brief period
times.
while I had a 6-month relationship, and then started coming back to young adults after that. And just I've never like not been here. It's just like my home away from home. See, did the internship like 2 years ago now, something like that. I was the IT intern, and now I'm the staff IT guy. So, yeah, it's a little bit about me. Anything else?
Do you serve at the church?
I do. I serve at YA. I'm the greeter team lead. That's a
Tell
good
them
plug.
what you do.
Plug.
Yeah. Where do
The-
you serve?
Yeah, the greeter team lead. So I lead the greeter team. We're outside. We're saying hi, maybe giving you a compliment if you're cool enough.
Oh gosh, that's fair. No, he's usually dissing people in like a fun way.
It's like
Good
roasting them.
banter.
Yeah,
Mhm.
banter. Nice, Anna.
Mm-hmm. Should I go?
Anna.
Yeah.
Okay, my name's Anna. I moved out here about a year ago to do the internship. Yeah, been here ever since. I was a youth intern and now I am a youth resident. So
Wow.
a little bit of an upgrade. And yeah, I love it out here. I serve at YA and I am on the welcome team and I do first looks. So if you're thinking about serving, you have to get past me first.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna vet you.
You should have seen the stare she just gave me.
Yeah. Devin didn't have to get past me, so
Yeah, you did.
maybe we can talk about that offline.
Devin
but
was recruited by KP. So if you don't like Devin,
Talk to KP.
talk to KP. Just kidding. Okay, fun guys. Well, it's exciting to have you on because I feel like, yes, millennials are always on this podcast talking about,
This is true.
which is great. And we're talking about Jesus, faith,
Yeah.
life, all the things. But I do think it would be valuable for your peers to hear from you about a number of things. Not because you're the expert, but because you're like in the thick of it. You're in the midst of it. Following Jesus. What does it look like to be a Christian in America in 2025? What does it look like to be a part of the generation where we are seeing a revival, where we are seeing God do new things, where we're seeing hunger in a way we haven't really seen in a long time. And so I think it'll be fun for people who listen, if you are listening. If you're like, yeah, that's cool, but they're pastors and they're old, but like I'm in it and I really would love to talk to someone else who's really in it and is my age and is going through the thing. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So today's going to be awesome. We're going to kick it off. I want to kick it off kind of practical, and then we'll go into your guys' like various stories. But feel like you can like be weird, have fun, be yourself. And obviously don't like feel like you need to give a buttoned up answer as well. Like if you're like, man, I don't know yet, or I'm still figuring that out, feel like you have liberty to say that. Because we all are to an extent. Okay, so what does it look like to follow Jesus in the practicalities of your lives? Like faith for the everyday. And like what does it look like to actually integrate it? Following Jesus, being a Christ follower into daily life, not just Sundays, Thursdays, or when the music is loud, or when you're at the retreat. Yeah. What does that look like for each of you?
Yeah, I think that's something that we're always going to be trying to figure out, is how to integrate faith into our like day-to-day life, whether it's the small things, the big things. Like some things that I've been learning is like when I'm at work, if I'm answering an email, how can I like invite God into that small thing? Not because I need his help to write an email, but because through my day-to-day, as I invite him into the smaller things, it kind of starts to blossom out of me with how I interact with people or how I treat people. It's you want a relationship where he's walking with you the entire time and he's not forgotten or left behind. So it's never been perfect. It never will be perfect, but it's something that I'm kind of trying to find the balance of just remembering that he's there, remembering where he's present. So one of the things I've been doing lately, I didn't do this morning because I woke up late, so womp womp. But when I wake up in the morning, just one verse, write it on a sticky note, shove it in my pocket. It's just one of those little reminders for me that like kind of keeps me in check throughout the day. If I get frustrated with something or I get impatient or whatever it is, kind of just like is that reminder to keep me going, keep God on my mind.
That's cool.
Like that.
Yeah, that's good. I think
sticky note.
for me, for a long time, I thought, faith in my day-to-day life needs to look like 30 minutes set aside every morning before I start anything, which I think is great. But I think it's also important throughout the day, like Devin was saying, like, how can I invite God in and just having like the constant communication almost with him of like, oh, I really hate this traffic right now. And instead of responding and like being really angry, being like, okay, I'll just tell God that I'm angry and being more honest. I feel like that's leads to just having more honesty with how you're feeling throughout the entire day. Yeah, and I think also when I wouldn't have that time set aside, I would feel really bad about it throughout the day. And so, yeah, just being like in constant prayer, which prayer honestly sounds really intense, but it can be like as simple as just like bringing any thought to God throughout the day.
Yeah, I think there's such an emphasis on quiet time nowadays with how busy our culture is. Like, oh, you need to set aside time for quiet time. Great. Yes, please, you should do that. But what about the other, 23 and a half hours of your day?
Yeah.
Those are just as important as the quiet time. Like God is still there. And so inviting him into those moments.
Yeah, I feel like there's an interplay between integration and segmentation. So I do think like if it's a relationship, you have a relationship with Jesus, but just like a relationship you have with a person, it is important to set aside time to meet with that person, to hang out with that person. But then also, I think the best, remember when you were in college and your roommates and you were just like doing life together, there's like no better way to grow close to somebody than like, we're doing dishes, like we're cooking, we're like watching a show, we're those sorts of things too. And so has that been hard? Like where do you feel like you more naturally go? Like segmentation, like that, like what's easier for you and how with the one that's harder, how have you added that or made it a part? I know you said the sticky note. Yeah. But like what does it look like to do both of those or at least try to?
Yeah, I'm definitely a very like regimented person.
Okay.
I'm very type A. Casey, I know you're not.
I'm B+.
Yep. Yep. And so I love having my time set aside where that fills me up in the morning. Which I think there's like the downside to where then I feel guilty if I don't do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely more natural for me to have that time set aside. But obviously when life gets busy, sometimes it is unrealistic to have an hour every day.
Yeah.
So just working on like throughout the day, really just being in constant prayer. I think it's honestly, you have to train your brain a little bit. Just like I would assume when you start a new relationship, it's like, okay, how is the communication going to be? Like, I don't want to overwhelm the person, whatever, spam them with text. It's like you have to train your brain of like just focusing on God more throughout your day to day.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like building any other habit, just something you have to work through.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think with just like rhythms, I think you have to just look at evaluate the season that you're in. And I think the college example is really great because I miss that, like I feel like bringing people along with it, whether it's just going to the gas station or going to the store. And I feel like in my walk with the Lord, it's just like so different in different seasons of transition and change or busyness or really slow, lonely seasons too. And so I'm like, how can I bring God in it? In every season, every step. And so I think it's a mixture, but looking and evaluating at the rhythms in my life and like what I need most and what's going to fill me up than like me just being numb and just like doing it the other way or just like being on my phone and like not giving like setting aside that time for what like really fills me up and what's going to create that longevity and what's going to bring that closeness that I need in like the season. So I'm very practical and like looking ahead, but also like looking at my like day and what's right in front of me too.
As someone who's very type B, I can't schedule it. If I schedule it in the morning, there was a time where I used to do that and I liked the idea of it, but I get frustrated with myself every day because I would miss it every day. I'm not a schedule person, and so like I just make sure I do it in the day. It could be at 1:30 in the morning if I'm going to bed that late, it could be at 7 in the morning if I'm up that early. I just make it a point to have that because as someone who's just so kind of chaotic and random when I want to do things, it's really easy to get disappointed or really easy to get down on yourself because you're not spending that time like you should or like want to. And so it's been a harder thing for me because when you're not planning it or scheduling it out, and that's not how your mind works, it's like you have to be really on top of it. You really have to put the effort in to say like, okay, even though I don't have it scheduled, I need to sit down. I need to do this. Take a second.
Yeah, I'm type B, and also fun and like delight are really important to me with my relationship with God, because Jesus literally died for the joy set before him. So I actually really think God loves my company and loves my presence and loves my personality. And so too, like, I think sometimes we're like, we can become really religious in how we bring God along with us. Almost like, when somebody that you really respect is in a room, you kind of button up a little bit. And I do think to an extent, like, God should make us want to be better. Right? Like, I think that's Jesus's presence does that. But I also think, like, if Jesus walked in here right now, our best selves would naturally come out. Like, you know those people in your life where you're like, oh, they bring out my best self. I think that's God to us. But for me, there's a practice I do that helps me look ahead differently. And it's, I end my day, I do like a Sudoku puzzle. And right now I'm on like level 4. So it's taking me, I'm like, Casey, like some days you just do not find the, like, you're like, am I an idiot? Like I've never done Sudoku before in my whole life. And I'll make a list of all the places or the moments where I felt God or saw God's hand, or where I felt, like it said, every perfect gift is from above, or like things I'm really grateful for. And I like start in the morning and I visualize it and I'll just jot down. And legitimately, the list is so long every day. Legit, long as can be. And if I don't do that practice, I find that my normal rumination is the long list of things I'm afraid of for tomorrow. And so there's 2 lists we can focus on. And I think the tomorrow list is valid, but I do think it becomes less daunting when you look at the today list and you're like, he was faithful. Because in the morning, every morning I wake up, I don't know about you guys, and I'm like, oh gosh, like morning Casey's like such a drama queen. like even something that I have later that night that's not even hard, I'm like, I should probably cancel. It's just gonna be so hard. And it's like, are you the most dramatic person?
That's so fun.
All that to say, I do think there are little practices you can do that help you start to begin to view your day in such a way that God is there.
Even the gratitude, I feel like that's just such a huge thing that's helped like change my perspective, or even just waking up and being like, thank you, Lord, for breath in my lungs. Like, thank you for this day and like for what's ahead and what's to come, and just inviting him in. I feel like it takes out the bitterness to like the day or
Yeah.
like what's to come, and it's less daunting because I'm like, I'm not alone in it, and like truly God's with me because I've like allowed him, and he wants to like be a part of like every single thing.
Yeah, my counselor said, like, start your day with 3 things you're grateful for, 3 blessings. And he said, I can't remember the exact thing, but it like actually does something to your
It
mind
does, yeah.
for the rest of the day because you started off with gratitude and blessings.
Yeah.
That's so good. Okay, what do we got next, Jada?
Okay, I feel like you guys both, you guys both work at the church, and you do a lot of work that's behind the scenes. And so I wanted to just talk about like, how did you navigate seasons of hiddenness, anonymity, and obscurity? So maybe like, maybe you're someone who wants to be seen, but you're not necessarily seen. And I don't think that's like not you guys' personality, but you guys do a lot of behind the scenes. You guys are very relational. And so like, how do you navigate like seasons of hiddenness? Because I don't think it's always bad to be hidden, but I do think sometimes it could be like, man, like look at me, or like, oh, like it's nice to be affirmed. I don't think that's a bad thing, but like, how do you navigate that? Because I think a lot of people that are in our age range, like necessarily like want to work really hard, and they maybe want people to see their hard work, or maybe they're doing the thing, they're not asking for that like affirmation or attention, but they want to see different fruit. And so like, how would you encourage someone, or like how do you guys navigate that in like your own like life? And
Yeah, I'd say whenever I hear the word like hiddenness or anonymity, my mind goes to like significance. To me, whenever I felt that way, whether it be like me in my corner office, like resetting someone's password, or even in past jobs or past times, I felt that way because I felt insignificant or unimportant. And part of that was I always needed a goal. Wherever I was going, whether it was me in high school, I felt like I had to have something to go towards. So for a while, you have graduating, right? Or you have a job. And so when I got out of high school, I was like, well, what do I do next? Okay, I got to find a promotion in the job I'm at. And I did it, right? And then, okay, I got the promotion, was another promotion and another promotion. And it was kind of this endless cycle of, that hiddenness or just that insignificance. And so something that when I was, I think 19, I kind of just flipped, was like, I just need to serve the Lord.
Yeah.
If I feel insignificant, what better thing to do than serve something that is greater than me, greater than who I am? So I started serving in the youth group that I went to, Red Rocks at Littleton. And for a couple of weeks, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. These youth students, man, like, because, obviously I'm way older than them at that point. At 19, I've been out of high school.
Oh, gosh.
And so I just felt so much more important. But as I went through the steps, right, and I just felt consistent week after week, started meeting with the people and the students, man, it just adds that feeling of significance in your life because you're serving something greater than you. Right? You're serving God, you're serving something that is eternal. And to me, even when I maybe wasn't being seen, right? If I was just straightening chairs, there was that feeling of like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I'm hidden. Doesn't matter if this is like an obscure thing. It was important. It was significant. And so to me, it was always finding something of significance. And so, like I said, when I worked at Chick-fil-A, my pleasure. I got a promotion, got another promotion. I was like, it's not enough. I need to be like an assistant director. And I kept doing it and I got there, but I just felt hopeless at the end when I reached there. And so, I think the best thing that I've done through my countless years of life is serve God when I feel unimportant. And so especially now working at the church, doing IT can feel unimportant sometimes. I'm not having a pastoral meeting, or I'm not preaching, or, whatever your idea of ministry might be. And so when I can then step out into YA and serve in the greeter team lead as the greeter team lead, or I can serve at youth, or even just remembering why I'm doing it. That's been the goal. So remembering what I'm doing it for, why I'm doing it for, and then finding something important to do it.
What would you say to somebody who doesn't work in ministry, who's like grinding, working really hard, and for God, like unto God, and pursuing significance? How would you encourage them to like shift their mindset in a non-ministry context?
Yeah, I mean, if they're grinding, they're like trying to serve God, I think it goes back to like building a habit of that mindset, right? Realizing that, okay, if you're doing it for God, then there's significance behind it, right? There is purpose is given from God, right? It's not given by me or by Casey or by Anna or by Jada, right? If you are really trying to serve God, that purpose is given by God. And so fixing yourself on that, right? Fixing yourself on the things above. And it's hard, it's difficult. I was sitting in my office yesterday and I was like, man, this sucks. I don't want to be here. This
Yeah.
just feels unimportant. But it's that shift, right? Where my counselor calls it thought stopping techniques, where you have a negative thought come in, whether it's like anxiety or in this case, just feeling insignificant or unimportant or like whatever you're doing doesn't matter. Take that thought and replace it with the truth, with the positive fact that is, okay, even though I don't feel important, I'm serving the church. And so for me, this past month has been really cool because when I feel that way, I get to look back a couple weeks and be like, wow, what I do does matter because, I got to baptize my brother. Or I got to, see this person raise their hand that I've been saying hello to for a couple weeks, right? It's like those small moments, as you hold on to those wins, you can look back on them to move forward.
Yeah. You made me think of something as you were talking about that. And even just somebody who works with you, I watch you do this really well. I think wherever you're working or whatever you're doing right now, whatever is in your hands or whoever your coworkers are, your neighbor is like the time and place in which you're situated right now is not accidental, and God is not frustrated by it. He's omniscient. And he's in charge, and he doesn't need you to be doing something else or be somewhere else to glorify him at all. And I think Jesus modeled this really well. Like when he took on the humility of Christ, like God becoming man, being born in this small town, being incredibly anonymous for 30 years as a carpenter, and then beginning a 3-year ministry. Now, Jesus, knowing he had a 3-year ministry to do all that Jesus did, didn't look at the town of Nazareth and say like, God, really? Like this job for 30 years, these parents, Mary and Joseph, like they were not kings, they were not emperors, they weren't highly educated. Oh, really? These are my disciples, these fishermen. And so Jesus himself saw everything through this transfigured lens of like, well, this is where I am. This is who I'm around. This is what I have. And so like, God doesn't make mistakes. And so I'm going to press in. Jesus was doubling down on everything he had access to. And so even for you, like whoever your coworkers are, whatever season, even if it's short, long, whatever, it's intentional by God. And so 100%. How do you view it as such? Not knowing the why. Hindsight is a really beautiful thing. Like when you get, that's why 30 I think is the best year. Because you get to look at your 20s and all the little moments where you were like, like when I was there, I had no idea what God was doing. I was being sharpened. It didn't feel like that. It felt like backwards. It didn't feel like forward. I was hidden. I was this, I was that. It like begins to make sense through this bigger lens. But when you're in it, it really can feel like backward. Like growth can feel like backward, or growth can feel like being hidden. And so, I don't know. There's just something about being faithful and knowing that like really one day you'll have the hindsight bias that you'll be able to, but right now it's like, well, I trust God.
So I think too, even with that of the being faithful, is hard. But I think like, imagine if you got something that you weren't prepared for and you poorly stewarded it, poorly handled it. And so that was in those seasons, I'm like, maybe my hiddenness is God's protection. So I would value it differently, because when you arrive or get to that thing, you're not like sitting there with imposter syndrome the entire time. Or maybe you have those moments. Doesn't mean those moments don't happen, but I think you're not doubting it. You're like, man, like I'm made for this. And like, thank you, Lord, for your timing, because I would have poorly stewarded it if I got it any earlier, or my brain wasn't developed, or I didn't have the skill set, or I didn't meet that person that kind of wronged me or was an unbeliever and really ticked me off, and I snapped back. You learn so much. And so I'm like, in those seasons of hiddenness, I'm like, I'm going to be faithful and I'm going to be a good steward to like what God is asking me currently. Because when that blessing or that prayer gets answered, or even in that, like I want to be faithful and like I want to like be able to like truly steward it well, and not like have so much doubt or like or like, oh, I don't know. I just feel like there's been so many times, the hindsight I have now as I'm approaching 30, thank God. But I'm like, oh my goodness, if I would have had this a year ago or in a different place, or, I mean, no matter what, you go left or right, God's gonna be with you. But I'm like, man, I'm so glad I didn't have that thing yet, because I would have like I would have been a wreck, or would have been a mess. And I'm like, thank you for saving me from that mess. And there's times now I'm like, oh, thank you for the opportunity I did not get. Thank you for the invite I did not get, or I would have not been ready for that thing, or, you know. So I think like there's so much intentionality in like God's plans for us. And like even when things don't look the way we wanted it to look, I think it's still like so cool when you have that hindsight of it. You're like, oh, thank you, you know? And so
like kicking down a door when God did not open the door, and then realizing I mean, I did that. I feel like you made me think of this in college. I think sometimes it's like, I feel like God uses everything, but I can think of like a really key mistake I made when I was 22. My senior year of college, I really wanted to be a captain. And I like to lead things, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm a leader, I should be a captain. But it was like my least favorite, and I like really was like, I want to do this. I like really advocated for myself, and they voted in 4 of us, and my coach was like, do you want this? Do you not? And in my head, I was like, why wouldn't I want this? But I really felt in my spirit that I should not have done that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I think sometimes we think like, because it's a promotion or because it's an opportunity, whatever, like, it's God. Like, God's always promoting. God's always like if it's up, if it's success, it's God. And it's like, well, and then I said yes, knowing in my spirit it was actually the wrong call. And it was my least favorite year ever. It felt like I was wearing like the wrong size shoe the whole year. There was so much pressure. I had no fun. I felt like I wasn't prepared to be in that leadership role, or my main leadership role was that I wasn't titled. Like, I think some of the best leadership moments, at least in my life, were when I didn't have a title, because I was approachable and I was safe and I didn't bring, right? And so for me, I look back and I'm like, I kicked down a door that God had shut. And I paid the consequences of it. And obviously God uses everything. You know, I think sometimes you can look back and be like, that was a mistake. It's like, well, God still works it out. But I look back and I'm like, I did that. Like, I messed up. So we never like share those mistakes, you know, but I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. So anyway.
It kind of reminds me of that verse, I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord than dwell in the tents of the wicked. It's said a lot. Do you mean it? Like, we say that all the time. I see it up on walls, and friends will say it. But do you mean it? Like, if you say, I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord, then are you content with where you're at? Or do you need more because you want to be selfish? And I get it, right? There's always that pursuit of what's next. It's very ingrained into our culture.
I know.
But if we're going to say that verse and we're going to believe in God, are we really going to believe what he says is true?
Right.
I know. There's like such a difference between like what I want my heart to be, where I want my heart to be, and where it actually is. Like, I'd rather be a doorkeeper. And sometimes I'll even pray like, God, I know your word says this. I want my heart to agree with this. Right now, my flesh does not. Like, I want to be a doorkeeper, but my flesh really wants to not be a doorkeeper. I want to feast at the table in the house. Like, is that good? So I think, and that's a really okay prayer, like an honest one. Anyway, that's interesting. I've never thought about like that verse with that. I want to feast, and then I thought about rotisserie chickens and Jada, how she loves rotisserie chickens.
Should we go to Costco after?
Yeah, the Costco rotisserie
Why? I was going to have
chicken.
it delivered.
Are you going to DoorDash a rotisserie chicken from Costco?
No, with your membership, you can get it delivered for free if you spend like about $35. So,
what else are you buying?
Why do you know this?
Well, because I had one at order.
She loves the rotisserie
Because
chicken.
I'm into high protein, low carb these days.
Tangent. Oh wait, Anna, do you want to answer this question? Sorry.
Sorry, my chicken.
No, I was
I
just
feel like I was watching Anna try to get it. I'm like, I'm gonna keep
No,
rambling.
you guys had good flow going. I was just gonna say, kind of like when Devin was talking about just being hidden, especially during the internship here. I feel like that is the definition of being hidden. Like, you're here before everyone else, leaving after everyone else, doing all of the jobs that no one wants to do, and sometimes not getting a thank you. Which I think for me in that season, there was so much growth because it truly develops such a reliance on the Lord and not affirmation from other people.
Totally.
Like, just makes you, I think during seasons of hiddenness, makes you reevaluate, okay, am I doing this for other people to see me, or am I doing this because it's honoring to the Lord? Which, I mean, I had a few moments during the internship where I was like, shoot, I definitely am doing this because I want people to see me. But yeah, I just think it produces such a reliance on the Lord when you are hidden and you don't have people seeing what you're doing every moment. It's like, okay, I'm not doing this for people. I am doing it for the Lord because he calls us to excellence.
Yeah, you have to lean on the purpose he's giving you.
Yes, exactly.
How did you shift? I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but you made me think about this. The word validation. and affirmation. I feel like growing up in the school system, and then you went to Baylor and you went to college, and I think you don't really realize how much these systems are actually like for you. You know what I'm saying? Until you're out of them. You're like, oh wait, I was in college and it was somebody else's job that I was paying them to do, to teach me to grade my papers, to do the club, to do the thing. You're like, oh crap. Like
That is so
like
real.
you're working hard in college, but then when you graduate and you're an adult and you're adulting, you're like, oh, that there's a reason I paid for that. Right? And didn't get paid for that. And so how did you shift from high school, college, like these contexts where you have like the look like you were good at school, like you were, okay, cool, where you were constantly being like evaluated, one, and because you were good at school, validated, affirmed, and reassured that you mattered, that you have gifts, that what you did was working towards something, your intellect, your career, your calling. That shift to like, I am stacking chairs and not getting paid, and I just had a $200,000 education that I paid for.
Sheesh.
How did you shift to that? What did that look like? I want to know like the mess, like in your heart and your mind.
I think for me, I mean, high school, college, I was very much like, I need to be a good student. I need to follow the rules. I put a lot of my identity in that. And then, you know, went to a very great school, in my opinion. And I won't talk too much about Baylor because I feel like I say it every other word.
Baylor students, come intern.
Yeah, Baylor students, I'm coming for you. No, but even at Baylor, it's just full of such overachievers.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad thing, but it does create a culture of like, okay, I need to get a really good job when I graduate. And a lot of my friends had their jobs lined up with like, what is it, Fast 40 or Top 4? What are the accounting firms, you know, like the really,
we're kind of,
sorry, talking to the wrong crowd.
I'm not Baylor business.
But they had like these really great jobs lined up, not just your standard entry level job. And then here I am getting unpaid for 9 months. So it was definitely an adjustment to just go from like putting all of my, I don't know, I thought if I did things well and I was good at school and good at like all of the sports that I did, that God was like, yes, like I thought that was, which I think he is, but I thought that like got me into heaven faster. I don't know. And so I think coming out of that and learning that like, it doesn't matter if I'm good at something, like at least I can try. Yeah. And like there's actually more fruit that comes from learning something
like new.
Yes, learning something new, and like just it completely broke down my walls of like I have to be good at everything. And it was actually you, Casey, who you were talking to me during my internship, and you were like, I want you to read the Bible, and as you're like doing your quiet time and reading, like figure out, like redefine what success is for you. Because for me it was achievement and doing well, and so I had to learn that success truly is like just being in the presence of the Lord and like looking at biblical characters, like, okay, David, like how did he succeed per se? And it's like he was with the Lord all the time, like the Lord was with him, and so I think that was a really important mind shift for me. And I think even now I compare what I'm doing to my friends like all the time, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't, what I'm doing, it kind of feels like a cop out, like it doesn't feel super successful. But yeah, I think it's just you have to redefine what culture is saying, because it's so like go and Devin, you were even talking about like wanting promotions and like you got to climb the ladder, but just kind of breaking that down and being like, success to the Lord is just being with him in everything that you do.
Okay, I have one follow-up for you. Sorry. I just think that the fact that you had a major at Baylor that you were really like passionate about, you studied for 4 years. Take us back to the moment where you felt called to ministry. So I guess I'm interested in the topic of like pivot points in your 20s, going against the grain from your peers and maybe what your parents thought you were going to do. Like this idea of perception, like how Anna's perceived. She's doing this one thing, she's set on it, whatever. Your friends see you that you're set on it, your parents see you, even the former younger version of yourself. What does it look like can you actually walk us through the moment where you realized like God was calling you in a different direction, one? And then two, what gave you the courage, or how did you gather the courage? And you probably still are, in the process of that, right? It's not a one and done. Like you're probably having moments where you're like, oh gosh, like
Yes,
do I go back
totally.
to fashion? And
Yeah.
so what does it look like to say yes to God in that moment? Hear from God, walk us through this, hear from him, say yes, and then remain obedient as people, even younger you, are like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, I've always kind of gone against the grain. My major was fashion, and so that's very different than what a lot of people choose to do. Even at school, I felt like I was doing something different because all of my friends were business majors and looking to be super successful in that area.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I thought throughout all of college that I was going to go into the fashion industry. I wanted to do buying for an outdoor apparel company. And I ended up getting an internship doing that out of college in Houston, Texas, which I prayed that I would go anywhere except for Houston, Texas. So never say never. But I ended up there, and I think for me, like, it wasn't this big moment where I felt like God came down and told me, like, you need to leave. But I just didn't feel right in my spirit. I didn't love the work environment. I didn't love the work that I was doing. It felt very pointless, which I think obviously God can work through any job. And I had really amazing conversations with coworkers who weren't believers during that internship. But I just like felt so dissettled there. And I didn't really know what that was. I thought I just didn't like the real world, honestly. And I remember having a moment very early on in the internship where I was like, I just wish that I could like be a missionary or go evangelize, and that could be my job. And I didn't really think much more about it. And then towards the end of the summer, my friend Lainey, who now works here, she actually called me and she was like, hey, there's a spot for the internship. I really think that you should consider applying. And long story short, I was out here a week later. But I think that sometimes these pivot points, they don't feel very monumental in the moment. Like God can use other people, and it can be as simple as a phone call.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be. I mean, I remember praying in that week of deciding to come out here, like, God, write it on a billboard for me.
Yeah.
Like if I'm supposed to be out here. And someone lovingly told me, like, sometimes our decisions aren't a yes or no, it's like a right or left. And God will be with us whichever direction we go. And so that kind of felt like it took pressure off of me. I was like so worked up and like, I need to make the right decision, what God wants for me. But it's like, we're not that powerful.
Yeah.
We can't mess up God's plan, which I felt like I was going to do.
Yeah.
And as soon as I made the decision, it was like instant peace.
Wow.
And I think that is a big, like, that's a big telling point of if you feel like called to do something. It's like, do you feel peace about it? Does your spirit like feel unsettled?
Yeah.
Like I did during the internship.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then now how do you remain grounded in that decision?
Yeah, I think, I mean, some days are really hard. I can't lie. But I think it's just like we were talking about, the constant conversation with the Lord. It's like I feel so strongly like this is where I'm supposed to be right now.
Yeah.
It's like I can't get too far ahead of myself, which I think helps me stay grounded. It's like I don't need to worry about my 5-year plan, which I feel like is taught in college, in high school.
Yes.
It's always like, what's your next step? What's your next step? And it's like, can we just be content where we're at right now?
Yeah.
So I think that kind of helps, like not getting too far ahead of myself.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to grill you, Anna.
No.
But it is interesting.
Yeah.
People in their 20s like coming at these forks in the road, and it's helpful, I think, for people to hear narratives, and they feel less alone.
Yeah.
And I like what you said, like it might just be a call and a moment of peace, and that isn't gonna always be like, oh my, the lightning struck and the thing lit up, and that can happen too. I mean, if you get a lightning strike after a prayer, God really, he's showing off, I guess. Or he doesn't respect that you're going to hear his soft voice. Anytime you get a loud sign, you're like, oh, sick. God doesn't think that I'm like going to hear us whisper.
I'm scared.
Okay, sweet. Okay, let's do one more and then, or no, let's just keep going.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Yeah, Devin, do you want to chime into that too? Because I know that
Yeah.
you mentioned Chick-fil-A, but then I feel like there was something like there's another opportunity before.
So I was kind of always the opposite. I kind of followed. In my sophomore, junior year of high school, went to work for Chick-fil-A because my brother and my friends worked at Chick-fil-A. Worked there for
Shout out to Dylan.
like 3 years. Shout out to Dylan. Okay, well, thanks, Casey.
Just kidding.
I worked there for like 3 years or so, and then ended up getting a job at a really good company. Probably one of the best jobs I could have gotten in Denver. It was honestly a dream job.
Wow.
I had big salary offers, but I guess to prep beforehand, in my sophomore year of high school, I was at the youth retreat and I was standing in the back of the auditorium like I did. And I just remember his name was Luke. He was preaching and he said, if you feel called to ministry, come down to the front and like we'll pray together. And I just felt something like, I didn't know. I'd never really had anything like this before. It was like, go down there.
Yeah.
That was just the only thought that I had in my mind. So I walked down unknowing what it means to be like called to ministry.
Yeah.
Absolutely no idea. And then I have this guy touching my head and like, what is happening? But looking back on it now, I remember that moment so clearly that when I was at this really amazing job that I had been dreaming for, my mom was super proud of. I was sitting in YA now and Connor said, hey, here is the internship application, explained what it was. And I just sat there like, crap. Like, I think I have to apply for this. Like, that sucks. That's genuinely my thought process.
Yeah.
I had gotten this job for 6 months is how long I've been there.
Dang.
So, like, I wasn't there for that long, but it was like a dream for me. And I was like, there's $0 involved with this internship, and I'm supposed to apply for it. So that's cool. I applied because I saw there was an IT internship. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll apply for that because I'd be able to do that. That's what I do now for a really big company. Did the interviews, all that. And I honestly, I was like, don't get accepted. Don't get accepted. Don't get accepted. Don't get accepted. And then I didn't hear anything. All of my friends that were applying, they're like, yeah, I got in. I'm in the internship, this and that. I heard nothing. Like 4 weeks after. And I was like, okay, we're good. I'm clear. I walk into Littleton one Sunday for church and Aaron goes, hey, Devin, I tried calling you. You didn't call. I was like, I didn't get anything. She's like, well, we'd love to have you for the internship. And I just stood there like, okay.
Dang it.
And so
Aaron's like, are you happy?
I was like, yeah, no, I'm happy and excited, but I don't know. Like, okay, I go home, I'm going to talk to my mom, and she was like, are you an idiot? Her genuine word,
That's so real.
She said, that is stupid. You did all this work, like worked your butt off to get this job that is a dream thing for you, and you want to step down from that and take an internship at a church that's not going to pay you a dime. And I go, I think so.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't want to, I just felt like I said, I'd been hoping I didn't get, I just felt like I had to.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah. She goes, well, that's stupid. And I don't really support it. But I'm not going to decide for you.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay. I accepted it. And man, the tears, like throughout I think it was like 4 months before it actually started.
Wow.
Tears, like probably couple times a week.
Wow.
I'd be at my job like, I love this so much. I love the people I'm around. And it was hard, but same thing. I just felt this peace after I was like, I'll do it. Scared for sure. There's a lot of unknown, like, man, this dream job, is it like going to be a thing of the past? Can I go back to it? But there was this peace that just kind of followed along. And like praying is just the Lord, obviously working through that, saying like, give me your yes and let me show you what I can do. Where now, man, I've never been happier to like be at a job like this.
Yeah.
Man, when I told you the peak of success was me at Lockheed Martin, that I would have agreed with you. But now the peak of success for me is like, am I serving the Lord well? In my job or in my day-to-day. And I can like gladly say like, I get to do that here. Not that I can't do it somewhere else, but that's something that I learned here that I wouldn't have been able to learn the same way at that job.
You also met someone.
I did meet my fiance.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out.
Shout out Olivia. She'll probably watch this. She listens to the podcast all the time. She'll definitely listen to this one.
That's so sweet.
I want to touch on just a theme between both of you, this moment of peace combined with a feeling of fear and like loss. How do those all exist together in a moment? What does that feel like?
I mean, I was scared out of my mind to do the internship. I was like, I am the least qualified person to do this. And so I think that's where a lot of fear is coming from. I was moving to a new state, halfway across the country from my family, my friends. But it really is like in my spirit. It's like, and I think for me, that's how I know it's the Holy Spirit inside of me. Just being like, I know you're scared out of your mind, but like, this is right.
Yeah.
It's kind of validating in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you're feeling all the emotions.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I was going to throw up like for that entire week.
Yeah.
Deciding.
I just think it's important for us to put expansive language around like the emotionality tied with peace. Because I think a lot of times we have this really like live, laugh, love, good like Walgreens or what's the store with the pillows? Home Goods, like view of peace. Like I think people think peace is the absence of discomfort. Peace is the absence of fear. Peace is like we have all these misdefinitions of peace, but really biblical shalom is like this feeling of like completeness. Like when Jesus dies and is resurrected, he says, peace be with you to the disciples. And that's just the beginning of them planting the early church. And all of them would go on to be martyred for their faith. Yet peace be with you.
Yeah.
Our Savior declares. And so I think I really would love for young adults to understand that this feeling of peace that you have in your spirit can also be accompanied by, oh man, that's scary.
100%.
And oh man, I'm taking a step I've never taken. And oh, it might not make sense to my mom. It might not make sense to some of my friends. But I know in my spirit I have to do this. And you almost the image of like walking towards something like almost like your body's ahead of like your flesh. Like you're just like, oh gosh, I'm going towards this thing. And like, I know I'm supposed to, but like there is a small part of me that's like, can I turn around though? And I think I just want young adults to like understand the nuances involved in making these decisions and then the feelings that go with them so they don't feel as like alone. Or like maybe it's not God because I didn't fully feel like I was like floating through the air, you
walking
know.
on water.
No, I'm like, you're most time in those places you're afraid, you're scared because you're like, oh, it's different or it's unknown territory or uncharted territory they haven't been. But it's like, I think there's something about that peace and that being like, I mean, even like me working in higher education was like my dream and other things I want to do, but to like follow that peace and being like, I'd rather I go left or right, like you're going to be here. And I think I just want to honor the Lord, like with my decision and with my life fully, at whatever cost that is, whatever it looks like. And I know it's not going to be easy, but I truly want to honor him. And that's all that matters. And so my friends or my like family, what they think, like, because I think comparison, I think if anything would be allowed to set in is the comparison or what does this look like, you know? And so I think like following that peace and being like, oh, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be nervous because, and I think our generation is like anything that doesn't feel good, we're like pushing it away. But I think it's okay to like feel those things, to have a little bit of angst and anxiety. A little bit of anxiety is not bad for you. And so I think it's okay to just like follow that peace, follow the voice of the Holy Spirit. Even just to sit on it and to seek counsel, to seek wise counsel. Not your amener friends, but people that truly like can force you a little bit ahead of you. I think it's so powerful and so helpful. People are gonna be able to pray with you and not be like, this is what you need to do, but let's pray together and like let's commit to being in prayer about this decision. And someone you can know that they won't have put a bias to like what they're telling you, but it's truly like, okay, I'm gonna try. I trust that you hear from the Lord, and like we're gonna like seek the Lord together, and then come back like this is what I feel, and then be like, okay, and then go and like fly and try it and fail if you have to, fail forward if you have to. So
I love that you said like peace and like almost discomfort and fear can coexist, because I was baffled at that when it was happening. Because people would ask like, okay, are you scared? Yeah, I'm scared. Okay, how do you feel? Great. Like, I don't know. It's so hard to explain because you sit in this like tension of having both of them, but feeling like perfectly fine. Like I could imagine, especially like, moving across the state. Like I remember the first intern in my class that I ever met was David. We just pulled up into a parking lot together before our dinner. I was like, hey man, like how you feel? Like we're like, it just feels great. I feel fine, but I'm like terrified at the same time. And I think it's partly that, like it has to be God working within you, because I can't remember who I heard say this, but God will never call you to comfort. There's always discomfort within God's calling. And so whether that's leaving something behind or going to something new or whatever, if you don't feel discomfort, okay, you
Yeah.
probably should feel a little bit,
Yeah.
but you also have a God's peace.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
that's cool.
And I think, especially in our culture, dependence will always feel like discomfort. Like it just will. Some cultures, honestly, like maybe that isn't the case, but like the American ideology is like, pull yourself up, be in control. No one's coming to save you, you know? And maybe that, like, to some degree, like, it's like, work hard, be responsible for your life. I get that. But I do think it's like, if God's goal in dying and resurrecting and being with us is that we would depend on him, and that God declares in his word that faith is counted to us as righteousness. Faith, dependence. If you ask anybody, like, how comfortable are you for asking for what you need or want? Everybody would be like, oh, that's really hard for me. It's hard for me to ask for help. It's hard for me to ask for my needs. It makes me uncomfortable. It's like, well, if you, like you said, Devin, like if God's leading you, that means you are in a posture of continual dependence. And then the act of repenting is, oh crap, I wasn't being dependent on God and I should have been. And so now I'm going to turn around, and that is uncomfortable. And so it's funny, like the word discomfort, but then you're like, well, dependence in our culture, I think would probably be the thing that makes people the most uncomfortable and vulnerable. So
it's not like do you. It's not like have it your way, you know, be yourself. It's like, no, like be dependent on God.
Yeah. And like,
him.
Does a little kid feel uncomfortable by being dependent on their parent?
No.
Do you see a kid full of discomfort, waking up in the morning and feeling awkward that their parent brought them breakfast?
Yeah. No.
Do you see a kid over apologizing if the parent picked them up from school? Oh, thanks. I really needed a ride. You know what I mean? Like, how wild would that be? Like the posture, I think we posture ourselves like orphans before God when he asked us to be children. And I think there is something so fun. Even at church, I find my faith like really deeply increased and stirred by watching kids interact with their parents. And I'm like, I want to be like that to God. Not like this uncomfortable, apologetic, drawing near to a father who I have pretended is callous or distant to me, but a father who's like, are we doing this? Or are we not doing this? Right? I don't know. Just an interesting image. I love children. I miss them. I love being around them. Anyway.
Serving kids.
Serving kids, you guys.
I love serving kids.
Our whole podcast is like a marketing.
Literally.
Plug.
Jada serving kids.
From Costco to y'all's
rotisserie
jobs.
chicken. All right, guys, this has been an awesome conversation, Gen Z Takeover, and it has turned into a longer conversation with more questions and more topics. And so this is going to be a 2-part episode. So this is the end of part 1. I wanted to say thanks for listening. We are a young adult ministry at Red Rocks Church, and we meet on Thursdays at our Lakewood location. So we meet at 7 o'clock. Come hang out with us, get into a building, get to know the community. We would love to like worship God with you and grow it together. And then also come on the weekend to one of our Denver-based locations if you live in this area. We have locations in Arvada, Littleton, Lakewood, and Park Meadows. Services Saturday at 5 and then Sunday 8, 10, and 12. We would love for you to come visit us, come make this place your church home. Until next time, part 2 will be posted in a couple weeks. So we're really excited for that to come out too. So love you guys. See you later. Bye.